But yeah, Creator versus Scarlett. What a CVP. Of course, coming off the back of that DRG Beyond series that did end up going 1-1, means that, hey, this is actually a pretty important one. Because if you have two players that once again go 1-1, then suddenly everything depends on that last best of 3. However, if you have one player get a 2-0, that is suddenly much more important than the third series, because then you're pretty much saying, all right, teammate, win a game. If you go 1-1, it's great. If you go 2-0, it's great. The only thing that matters is if your opponent then gets a 2-0 in return. And so, you know, it's really going to be down to both these players, seeing what form they're in. Of course, I think Creator is still right now in very good form off of the GSL final loss. Did end up playing in the finals, I believe, the ESL Open Cup Korea or North America, where he did lose a 5-game set to Beyond. Mind you, that Beyond was playing pretty on fire in TVP on that day. As for Scarlett, I think just recently came off of, what was her? I am trying to remember off the top of my head, and I cannot for the life of me remember what her result was in DreamHack Valencia, where, of course, I think she ended up getting second? No, third. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Ended up dropping or going into third with because Neeb and Astrea ended up, of course, snagging themselves the first and second seed, which is, of course, again, great for Neeb and Astrea. It means that they do get those seeds straight to DreamHack Valencia, the major, the LAN, which is going to be very, very exciting. Scarlett did end up going down to third off of the back of those 2 ZVPs. So, you know, but again, it's still competitive. It's still consistently, almost every single season, top 3 in North America. Her form, while it does kind of, you know, it wanes, it waxes, it seems like when it matters, her form is always at least able to compete with the top level players. Not able to beat them, but able to compete and make these games close, these series close, able to take games off of them. And so you can't really count her out, especially in a best of 2, where it's a little bit more unpredictable. You really can never count Scarlett out. She has gone for what appears to be an earlier Roach Warren that looked like it was a 350 or 345 Roach Warren, as opposed to the 420 Roach Warren that you usually do end up seeing sometimes, or the 4-minute Roach Warren. But overall, that difference shouldn't be that big. Now, with 12 Zerglings coming out, Scarlett is, I think, getting a correct read into this situation where she expects Creator to be aggressive, and that's exactly what is happening. We actually have a Disruptor drop that is on the way here for Creator. Additional gateways also being placed down so you can have a decent follow-up, even if that doesn't get the most value. We're gonna see the we're gonna see the depths try and make their way in, but yeah, already plenty of Zerglings here. There's 9 more drones on the way here for Scarlett, and she is comfortably at 3 bases, and I wonder, I don't know if she quite has a read on this just yet as to the fact that this is Disruptor drops. Of course, you see the Disruptor speed. I think that should clue Scarlett in. You don't usually see Disruptor speed unless, or Warp Prism speed, sorry, unless it is the Disruptor drop. Queen's in a very nice position to receive it. Yeah. Creator not gonna be able to find his way in just yet. Is gonna look for Disruption Novas. Gonna take a singular Queen and get on out, but overall, actually not getting as much value as I think he would like out of this opening. Mind you, you delay your 3rd base quite heavily. You're going to be delaying your Forge and your Twilight Council, which are only just now coming down. Interesting to see how this is going to end up going here. Scarlett. Nice pull back on the Zerglings, just make sure that that Disruptor doesn't find any more damage that it needs to. And this game has been quite passive. I mean, it doesn't help that I don't know why this happens. So I'm gonna explain to you guys a little bit phenomenon. You've probably heard it before. Sometimes when you get into some games, the game will not register that you're actually in a game as the observer, and it will keep playing menu music. And so usually what happens is when you're an observer in a game, it will play, for instance, the Terran themes, because those are obviously, you know, the most iconic. Those are the ones that you expect. Sometimes, though, it will keep playing this kind of, this menu music or some of the chiller Zerg themes, and it's so weird. Because I'm going to tell you this, as a caster, I love hearing the music. It amps me up. And so I'm sitting here, I'm like, there is not a lot going on in this game, and also there is no music. Which is always interesting when it happens. But it looks like we're gonna start to get the Zerg theme picking up here. Blink Stalker's 1-1 on the way, but Scarlett says she doesn't really want to wait for that. She's gonna be coming across the map. Banelings, Roaches, and Ravagers are on the dock and try and get a good connection, but the splits, oh, Scarlett. These splits are glorious, and now gonna try and find her way on in. Force fields are gonna have to come down, and oh, the force fields are great, but the Banelings are still gonna find their way on in. Good connection onto the sentries. Roaches just diving on forward. Shield battery overcharge is down. Now disruptors are going to get picked off, and now the worker line as well. 14 probes going down. As the disruptor gets sniped, Scarlett is going to back on up, and she is extremely happy with how much value she was able to get out of this drop, out of this play so far. And now suddenly Creator is really stuck on his back foot and is going to once again try and go for some damage with Disruptor. It's 5 drones in the mineral line, and that's obviously good, but that's the kind of damage that you would want much earlier in the game. When you're not looking at a 75 drone Scarlett, when you're not looking at a Zerg on 5 bases with a Spire on the way, you know, already getting ready for transitions and the next stages of the game, that's when 5 drones would be good. That's when you'd probably like to have that, but unfortunately for Creator, he was not able to find that damage. He was not able to get the value out of the Disruptor drop that I think he wanted. He lost a bunch of probes to the counterattack from Scarlett. And this game is looking very, very rough here for the Protoss, who gets another 5 drones, and it's certainly something. It's at least a little bit of value on the back of this, but again, Scarlett, it's so easy for her to replenish that drone count. It's not even funny. Ooh, that is thunder. I don't know if you guys can hear that over my mic, but there's some thunder. Nice snipes there onto the Banelings. Still not raining. I'm so mad. Listen, I'm going to take a break from this game real quick to just tell everyone how mad I am that I just heard thunder and it is not raining. So it is still going to be hot. It is still humid because it hasn't rained. And it is so annoying. But anyway, what is also annoying for Creator is how ahead Scarlett is right now. 5 base Zerg is currently working on just suffocating the Protoss. Creep spread is getting to about the halfway point. And that's very decent here for Scarlett. She obviously wants to push it a little bit further right now so that she has a bit more agency in pushing across the map as she approaches maxed out. At the same time, ooh, nice Disruptor hit. You can see the face cam reaction there from Scarlett. She was not happy with that, obviously. Tried to split, was not able to just in time. +2 on the way now for the Protoss. It's going to be finishing up just about now. Scarlett has her own +2 on the way, and look at this setup from Scarlett. This is gorgeous to look at. She's going to be looking for a Baneling run by into the 4th. It's just going to back up as she finds all the units there, but instead is going to focus her efforts here on the natural base. Baneling's trying to find connections onto Stalkers, and the Roaches are actually just going to fight it very, very well straight up. More Banelings rolling on through. Scarlett is eventually going to back up, but instead is going to go for that mineral line. Stalker's absorbing a lot of damage. Again, Baneling's trying to roll through, but Creator, very, very good responses here. Gets a few sentries, but that's it. Scarlett continuing to press in with the Roach Ravager. But again, you have to be so, so careful with Disruptors available, with the Blink Stalkers available, and ooh, Scarlett might have pushed a little bit too far. She did have a big advantage, but that is suddenly disappearing as she loses on almost every front. Creator handles that so, so well. And it's a greater Spire on the way for Scarlett, but now you have to spend so much money replenishing this army that you just lost that you're never gonna get into the greater Spire units. I mean, Scarlett has definitely not been efficient in this game. Creator, even though he wasn't getting value with his disruptors, was still finding ways to slow down the game, to slow down Scarlett, and then with those few trades, suddenly the tides are turned. Disruptor hit, not the best. Stalkers have to try and get on out. They, of course, do tank up the Banelings very, very well. Blinkbacks come through. Sentries are going to get sniped. That is it. Disruptors are picked up. Archons are still fighting well. Disruptor's going to push back the Roach Ravager. And suddenly Scarlett is in a really bad position. Like a really bad position. Creator is going to be working on approaching maxed out. It, of course, is a longer process for the Protoss because their units are just more expensive. They're more supply intensive. And so it just takes a little bit longer to get there, but right now, Scarlett's army just doesn't fight well. It's Zerglings, Banelings, Roach Ravager. You got plus 2 Blink Stalkers. You got Archons, Immortals, Colossus, Disruptors. All of these units for the Protoss just fight so much better. The Roach Ravager, you know, the Banelings, they're great against, you know, if this was Charge Lot, Archon, Immortal, this would be a wonderful composition for Scarlett, but that's not the case. Baneling Run By is going to come on through. It's just not going to find a lot of value, though. Ooh, as Disruptor shots are good, and Creator's just going to work on chasing this down. He now has Charge Loss added in, but they just serve to tank up the Banelings. As Creator right now is working on 54 probes. If you're wondering why the supply is so low for Creator, it's actually not in the army. It's in the probe count. He's sitting at 54 probes. He's now just going to blink on it. He knows that his army is big enough. And he's absolutely right. The Roach Ravager, it takes up so much supply, it's just not going to be efficient for Scarlett to trade with. It's a rough time for Scarlett. Manages to find a few abducts. The Archons just back up, though, and the trades are not going the way of the Zerg. You still have Immortals, you still have Disruptors. The 5th base is going to go down. And Bailey's trying to roll on through, but they are just rolling to their demise. Great Disruptor shot there. Should be enough to close off this game. As a single Immortal is still living, the +2 Blink Stalker is just doing what they do best. And just causing chaos. Just being very, very annoying. More reinforcements are going to come through. More Blink backs, and Scarlett, she is fighting for her life right now and doesn't actually have a larger army. But as more Warpins come through, now of Charge Lots being added on in, Creator's just going to keep pushing this. A lot of the supply for Scarlett is in units that are building right now that are not yet quite on the map. And that is another issue in and among itself, as Scarlett is fighting for her life right now. Again, though, it's a 54 probe Protoss, so Creator is not able to replenish this army, I think, as well as he would like. Some good splits with the Stalkers. Means the Banelings aren't going to get as much damage as they would like. And with all the Lings cleared out, it's just the Roaches. And when it's just the Roaches, it is not as clean for Scarlett. But Creator right now, I mean, this is it. He's all in. He has to win it here, and I think that's going to be the really big issue. Scarlett found enough worker damage, and so if you're not able to win the game, if you're not able to find this fight, I mean, Overseer being morphed in, those Dark Templars were being annoying, but the 3rd base is going to get sniped now. Does Creator believe that that is enough to bring this game back into his favor? He's not adding on more probes. That's not going to be the call for him. Instead of just continuing to fight, it's still continuing to just find trades, and it's starting to even out the supply. Creator right now, not entirely sure what the plan is going to be. Again, he found good damage. He got drone kills. He eliminated a lot of Scarlett's army, but the issue was there was no probes behind it. I think Creator knows that. And he realizes that this army is all that he has. He's going to add on more gas, try and get his +1 armor back on the way, but not much that he can do right now. It's actually supply block too. Creator, I don't know. Okay, there we go. No, never mind. He said 200. What am I talking about? He's not supply blocked. He has 200 supply gap. Duh. But he's gonna work on more charge lots, more blink stalkers. It's just gonna be this ground-based army. But all of the tech is gone. The disruptors got killed. The Colossus went down. The Immortals ended up falling. That's gonna be the real big issue here for Creators. He's closed in this supply gap. He's of course down in army supply right now. That Baneling is gonna force the blink back for Creator. And this game is turned into something as Creator. I mean, I'm trying to assess his position right now, but I don't really know if there's going to be a world where Creator can commit in enough to find critical damage to win him this game without losing too much, as that's a great dodge there on the fungal growth. Still a few stalkers are going to get caught. They're just going to get knocked down. This is +3 lings right now that Scarlett is working with. Mind you, it's only +2, +1 available for Creator. I think Creator is realizing this game might just be a little bit too far gone. Archons are going to go down. Scarlett is committing in with so many Ravagers. Her gas bank was just out of this world. We'll see how long it takes Scarlett to realize that she can just commit on in to try and find the killing blow. Because there is not a lot left right now for the Protoss. Just be careful. Disruptor shot is only going to find 2 of the Ravagers, and you also have a run by now into the main base as well, and that is, yeah, this is just making things from, I mean, worse to worse. As yeah, the main base is going to be sacked, and DTs will be warped in to help deal with it. The Stalkers, though, they have to try and find damage at the front. This is a nice commit in here. Ooh, Disruptor shot is going to find quite a bit of value. But Creator, this is it. The Archons have to find a good fight, and they are able to. It's +2, +1 Archons, and Scarlett has to back on up. It's just Ravagers that her supply is in. And mind you, Ravagers, they are just not efficient when it comes to that supply, as the Archons are starting to go down. Only 2 of them left. The shields are low. Disruptor gets a bit too far forward, and that's going to go down. But the supplies have been evened out, and Creator, no way. No way does he manage to find this win, as it's getting so close. The Blink Stalkers fighting for their lives. Scarlett is trying to reinforce, but more Zel's coming on through. The main base is sacked. The third base is sacked. Creator still has an Archon. He still has an Immortal. Has a DT and charge lots with this. What? Creator just found the fight of his life. As that was almost certain that it was game. It was that there was going to be no chance, but with the more units coming on through, Creator, he barely has anything left. The Stalkers are going to go down. But he still has a DT that's able to fight here, and there's not actually a lot of vision. It doesn't matter. GG. Scarlett gets the win. All right. Scarlett barely manages to eke out the win there in game 1. I mean, it was close. It was like, I mean, Creator somehow managed to make that a very close game. It felt like he was down and out for a while. Turns out no. Nope. Does not end up being a victory there for Creator. But it was close. But that does mean that Shopify Rebellion is going to be going up 2-1, and if Scarlett does get another win here on Glittering Ashes, suddenly this series looks a whole lot different for Team NV. You need to get a 2-0 with Bunny in that match versus Hearthstone. But mind you, Hearthstone has been playing really, really well. But we'll see. Creator, of course, I mean, this is Glittering Ashes. This is, I think, the map that really started the... what do we call it? It really started kind of the pathway forward for Protoss in the terms of their strategies. With Hero, obviously, coining, I think, the double Stargate Phoenix into the mass Charge Lot Blink Stalker ground play. Or timing attack, even. And so we'll see if Creator ends up going for that kind of a style. It never has really been, though, Creator's kind of like cup of tea. Has been that Hero style. He definitely has a much more different, much more methodical approach to playing out these engagements, to playing out this matchup. We are going to see the Stargate first, though. So I assume we'll most likely end up seeing... the Oracle first, potentially into a Void Ray. The Void Ray The Void Ray is weird. I'm just gonna say that. The Void Ray is weird. It's in a weird spot where a lot of players do still end up using it. I mean, I think we saw Zoun in the GSL group today. Or in the GSL, yeah, GSL group today, right? Yeah. Or yesterday, right? No, today is Monday. We saw Zoun in the GSL group today actually end up using the Void Ray, and it has its place in the early game, and that place is really in just denying vision and also being a defensive tool against Zerglings. That is about it. The Oracle, though, also can fulfill that purpose. And of course, you do have to keep in mind with the Oracle the energy restrictions that you will end up having with it, but usually the Oracle, I think, has just been the better option as of late, as this Overlord is going to go down. Scarlett actually doesn't have another one in production. Ooh. There we go. 2 finally on the way, but that's going to be a bit of an annoying supply block here for Scarlett. This Creator does have the 2 Oracles out. Is going to go up into 3. And maybe we'll see if we see the 4 Oracles of which there will be. But no, it should just be the 3 Oracles. That's kind of the standard number that you see a lot of players go for. Ooh, good focus fire there from Scarlett. Manages to get one of the Oracles. Of only losing a singular drone, and Creator there getting a little bit greedy. I don't think he expected the 3rd queen to pop out that quickly. Had it not, it potentially could have actually killed both those queens. There's Twilight Council forward, so this is going to be the standard transition for Creator. So nothing crazy, no 4 Oracles. Instead, most likely just going to be Blink +1 from Creator Scarlett. Though, is going to be pretty happy with how this opening has gone. As any Zerg, if you see your opponent open up with the Oracles and you manage to completely negate the early damage aside from a Queen going down, you're really happy with that. You even snipe one of the Oracles. That's a lot of energy over time that's no longer going to be available to the Protoss. It's actually a nice catch as well. Going to be able to get 2 of the Adepts. And just backs on up. Right now, Scarlett just playing extremely well at the opening of these games. The upgrades are going to finally come through here for Creator. Blink +1. 4 gateways as well, so he's going to be looking to head into this pretty standard Protoss follow-up that most players, that pretty much every player has been heading towards. 4th base also on the way, as Scarlett should be adding on her 5th battery, I think, fairly soon, if I'm not wrong. No, actually, her 5th battery is probably going to be on time right now. Is still working on droning up her 4th, actually. Centrifugal hooks +2 melee attacks, everything just kind of coming through. If you're surprised at all by anything that is happening this game, I hate to break the news to you, but this is pretty normal, as this is going to be a nice forward gateway coming down from Creator, so he's actually going to have faster warp-ins here for these Blink Stalkers, and it looks like he's going to try and head towards a very, very aggressive +1 Blink Stalker build. Now, usually you'll see this a bit more passively, maybe, or you have the player getting the 4th base and then just macroing up behind it, but Creator, while that 4th is on the way, is going to be focusing a lot more on the actual attacking your opponent and trying to force some damage out than you might otherwise see with this forward gateways. He's going to stop those Zerglings from really getting too much damage done. First blink back so far, good. Has a few Zealots here to help absorb damage from the Banelings, but has not actually attack moved the Zealots forward. Will finally do that himself as the Banelings do get baited there into a Stasis Ward, and this fight is already actually starting out great here for Creator. As more Warpers are just going to come in immediately, he's going to blink forward, snipe off a few of the Queens, and Scarlett is looking like she might be in a little bit of trouble here. Army supply in favor of Creator. The only thing that Scarlett has right now as advantage is that worker lead. Now that does take a Baneling hit they probably didn't want to. Now let's see, Creator still trying to posture around, has stopped the immediate warp-ins. Has that robotics facility on the way in charge, so we will be heading into the next stage of this game, realizing that probably won't be able to get too much more damage done with this position. And, Scarlett diving on in, Stasis Ward not getting as many units as I think Creator would like, and the Banelings surround. Great force fields, though, and the blink down onto the low ground Creator. That was gorgeous! Absolutely gorgeous as the 3 Oracles managing to find some damage and clean up a lot of those units that were on the high ground. Surround onto the Zerglings. Dang, man, Creator's good. 5th base on the way, +2. Also in the docket here for Creator. Of course, does not have those fast warp-ins anymore just because we have, or we got the gateway depowered there from Scarlett, but is also working on the Ultralisk Cavern. Which is definitely interesting for the Zerg. I mean, have not seen you really don't see Ultralisk Cavern that often as the first option. Usually the Ultras are actually there to bolster the Air Army in the late game, but Scarlett's just going to be adding on immediately as Baneling's rolling on through. Nicely done not to detonate them onto those Zealots. There's a bit of Stark counterattack here for Creator. I think this should get cleaned up pretty easily. Few Zerglings are going to get shaved off, but recall has to come through. And Scarlett has managed to really stop any pressure that the Protoss can now put onto the map. Chitinous plating on the way with, I mean, your +3 upgrades. It's all pretty standard for Scarlett. She's trying to get into essentially the army that just shreds. Adrenal Glands is almost done, and that's actually going to be finishing up right as this fight happens, and now we're going to see that damage start to compound as Scarlett knows this is her position to find an engagement, and she's going to be able to just knock down this 5th base. The Stalkers are being chased back, and mind you, that's a majority of Creator's army does have a few units here on the other side of the map, but the base goes down, the Stalkers are all low, the Adrenal Glands allowing these Zerglings with that additional attack speed to just shred the Stalkers. And now you're going to have Ultras also on the map. The +3 isn't even done yet, mind you. As Scott's going to take a 50 supply lead, and she's looking to go 2-0. I mean, right now as the Zerg, you're in a wonderful position. If she gets the 2-0 over Creator, I mean, that's not how anyone, I think, expected this series to end up turning out. attack gonna come through here for Scarlett. Once again, gonna try and knock down another base. Baneling's into the mineral lines, gonna find 7 probes already. Looks like that's going to be about it for the worker damage, but mind you, what else are you losing? And that's a lot of units here for Creators. Finally gonna bring in the Immortals and the Colossus, which will help to bolster his army. As Scarlett is committing very, very far in, and this is all that she has left. I don't know if this is actually that efficient here from Scarlett. She's gonna lose all the Ultralisks. He's gonna end up losing a lot of our Oh! Oh! 10 Ultras, okay. Oh my god. That... I don't know if it's actually gonna work though, Creators. He's building Immortals. He has Dark Templar on the way. I mean... This is... crazy. Scarlett, I mean, 10 Ultralists on the map with Zergling Baneling. She's going to look to roll over Creator, and if Creator does not micro this perfectly, does not respond perfectly, this very well could be a 2-0 for Scarlett. Again, a massive result for Shotfire Belling if she's able to get that, as the Immortals have to go into a choke point. It's a very good choke point that they found, though, as Creator's going to bring over his whole army. Oh, Zealot's just get absolutely blown up. The Archon trying its absolute best to tank up, but instead the probe line is going to go down. As the Immortals firing away, but the Baneling's still just rolling on through. The Ultras are just on top of everything, and that's the 2-0 for Scarlett. A massive result for her. Creator not able to get the win.